Hi guys, welcome back to Finding Your Indie. I'm Bonnie Paulson, and if you had a chance to check out last week's video about defining your successes, I hope that you're ready for today. We are going to take that a step further, and we're going to actually be talking about author goal setting. I know it seems a little weird, but Bonnie, I already defined my successes. But did you? Because you might have identified what it would take for you to feel successful or for you to actually be able to acknowledge what success feels like, but have you figured out the steps to get there? We're actually going to do that today in this fun little video that we're doing, and we're going to identify the goals to get to your successful points. So I hope you have a chance. Pull up some paper and let's get started. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to identify our goals. Now, if you have any problems with this, this is not something that's normal like building a fence. Okay. I mean, building a fence is pretty standard. You go get your nails, your wood, you have an idea of where you're going to go, you have the lines, you put it up, right? And then you're done. Author goal setting is not the same thing. Author goal setting isn't even really the smart way to do it. SMART, right? You know what I'm talking about. It's not even that. It's what is really crazy about author goal setting is that it has to be done in a way that allows for flexibility, number one, and it also allows for your creativity, number two, and you should be trying to fight off, what's it called? Burnout, writer's block. Have you heard of those things? Okay, so when you're a writer and you're an author, a lot of people have this mentality of you have to write every day, or you have to have a regimen, or I write whenever I want to, and you do you. But if this is a business, you know that you have to show up to make money eventually, right? I mean, if that's what you want to do, not have a hobby, but you want to actually make money at this, which is why I'm assuming you're at an ad and marketing YouTube channel. But if you're trying to make money with something, then you should be showing up consistently to do it, right? Okay, so let's talk about, I want to make sure I have one of my favorite colors on here. I like the black on here. What we're going to talk about is how you're going to be setting your goals. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need to do is let's put this into a little grid like that. Pardon my handwriting. I suck at even drawing stick figures. Okay, so the first one you're going to do is we're going to obviously have our writing goals here. Okay, these are the books, the products, the things that we're doing, right? Like that's your goals. Like that should be your number one thing that you're working on. Fundamentally. That's why it's in the top part of the grid. Then what we're going to have on here is also your admin. This would be things like formatting, editing, putting the book up, blurb writing, all the things. Then you have number 3 is going to be your marketing. And number 4 is going to be your learning. Okay. Now, for some of you, if you have if you have done the Clifton Strengths and you're like, oh yeah, I'm a learner. Number 4 is something that you're going to want to focus on all the time because that's how you thrive, right? Is I'm a learner. I have to do learning. However, I'm going to challenge you to make sure that you're constantly working on number 1 first. So number 1 should be your priority all the time because you can't do number 3 without having products from number 1. And you can't do number 2 admin work without having products from number 1. Okay. I am a person that believes that the next book does market the previous book. However, I also believe in standard marketing cogs. So I think it's important that we realize that all 4 of these are important. You cannot have a pile of books sitting on your computer and expect people to read them if you haven't done number 2. If you haven't put the books up or you haven't made them available, how can people read them? So all of these are really important in what you're doing in pushing your business forward. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about writing. You need to make sure that you're making time to write. Okay. And my handwriting sucks. I should have been a doctor. So making time to write, and then you need to figure out a release schedule. Now listen, everyone and their dog, remember we talked about this in defining success. Just because such and such makes $1 billion a year doesn't mean that needs to be your goal. Yes, it would be nice, right? Like, hello, who doesn't love the money? However, it needs to be realistic. At this point in time, where are you at in your career? Are you working on book 1? Honey, then I hate to break it to you, you're probably not going to make $1 million this year. But let's be honest with ourselves, okay? And that's okay to be honest with ourselves. But I do want you to identify where you're going to be. Yes, I want to make $1 million next year. Okay, what do you need to do to make that happen? How marketable is your work? Are you writing to market? Are you writing whatever happens to be popular in your head at the moment? Are you writing only on Tuesday nights? And it's only for 20 minutes? Like, what exactly are you doing in your writing area of your your whole sphere here that is going to push you to your defining success stuff. Okay. So it's almost like you're working backwards. So how many books can you feasibly write in a year? Let's just talk about just a year here. If you think that you can write 5 books in a year, then let's say that you're going to go down by quarters. Okay. So 5 books in a year of 12 months, that means it takes you what, 2.5 months to write a book. That's writing a book. That's not including the editing and everything. So let's say it's 2.5 months. So it takes you 1 quarter to write maybe a book and a half, or a book and a tenth, or a book and a quarter. Okay. So you're going to say you're going to work on it in 1 quarter, 1 book a quarter. Now, for some people, they write a book a week. Some people write 1 book a year. I don't care how long it takes you to write a book. That doesn't make you faster or slower with that compared to other people. Sure, it does. But we're not talking about other people. Remember, we're trying to avoid comparing when we're trying to set our goals. Because I've done this where I'm like, and you guys, it's really easy to write this down. Watch. I used to say, okay, I'm going to write 10,000 words in a day times 6 days a week. That's going to give me 60,000 words. So, okay, if I can get 52 weeks a year at 60,000, let's do some fast math here. If I could find my phone. There it is. Let's do some fast math here. Thanks to my teacher who said that I would never carry a calculator. 52 times 60,000. Ooh, that is 3,120,000 words in a year. That's 52 books. Yeah, look at me go. Look at me go. And then you know what happens? Monday, I write 10,000 words. Tuesday, I write 6,500 because, I can make that up. It's only 3,500 words. Wednesday, I take a nap. Thursday, I'm looking back at everything I'm supposed to be catching up on because by now I'm 10,000, 13,500 behind, plus the 10,000 I have to do on Thursday. I'm not pulling a 20,000, 23,000 word day. It's not happening. So this is where my plan breaks down. And immediately I can't follow through. Okay. This is because I think, I can write 10,000 words a day. I can't. I have 6 kids that we homeschool. I have a husband. I've got a house. I have multiple other jobs and businesses and other responsibilities that I do. Plus I like to sleep. So that is not realistic for me. But what would be realistic for me is to downplay it. Okay. So let's say I can write 1,000 words in an hour. I can actually do 2,000 words in an hour. So with my brain working, but I'm going to say 1,000 words. I'm just going to plan 1 hour a day. Okay. So 1,000 words in a month minus 4 days for the Sundays. And I'm looking at, what is that? 27,000 words. We'll say 27,000 words. Okay. And we're going to times that because my books are at least 60,000 words. So we're going to need 2 of those. So it's going to be 2 and then maybe a week and a half for editing. So I'm looking at 2.5 months for a book. That sounds good. That sounds feasible. Now it's okay if I jump ahead. If on one day I'm like, I got 6,000 words. That's great. But for me on a writing plan, on my goals, I'm going to have a goal of doing 5 books in a year. Okay. Now, if you have multiple pen names like I do, you have to pick which pen names those are going to go in. This is why it gets kind of crazy. However, we're just going to talk and say, Bonnie, this is what my focus is going to be. I actually just want to focus on 5 books in this 1 year. Okay, great. 5 books in a year. That is a lot less stress than, 52? 52 books in a year. I did that one time and it was awful and I was extremely stressed out. So no, but 5 books in a year, I feel like that's doable with 1,000 words a day. Okay, so then what we're going to do is then you're going to look at your admin. So we're like, okay, this is my focus. I have to make sure that it's going to be 1 hour of writing a day. Now I'm making this to be in between. Some people who write full time, they can put in 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, whatever of their writing. For me, I have, like I said, other responsibilities. If I want to write, I'm looking at 1 hour a day. Admin work. This is formatting, uploading, whatever. This is very important work, but let's be honest. If I'm only releasing 5 books in a year, it shouldn't take that much time. But I'm also going to include my bookkeeping and I'm also going to include my other things. So I'm going to plan on maybe 30 minutes a day. Okay. And what I'm going to say with this is my goal is to have because I do my own formatting. Do you do your own formatting? I bootstrap everything. We'll talk about that in an upcoming budgeting video that we're going to do here for Finding Your Indie. But I do want to just disclose that I bootstrap a lot of my stuff. I learn how to do it, and then I pay someone else to do it. That way, if something happens, I can still take over and nothing's broken. If we part ways, or if they close their business, or something happens, okay? But the goals for admin is more like, so we can clearly identify 5 books in a year for writing. Like, this is going to be my goals for my author goals, okay? But for my admin ones, what I'm looking at is more along the lines of, am I able to track income? Am I able to track my actual time? I need to budget. This is where a lot of things come in. So budgeting, formatting, all kinds of stuff. Am I planning on going to like conferences? What am I planning on doing here that will take away from here? Okay. And the reason that I set goals like this is because, like I said, number one, you're writing, if I'm for my author business, writing has to be fundamental. But there are things that are going to take away from things. Let's be realistic. You want to go on vacation and you don't want to write. These are things that you have to account for. And again, this all comes down to your goal setting. I want to release 5 books in a year. So what is that going to look like? Okay. So admin, I want to be like, I'm going to need 2 weeks for vacation. Maybe 2 weeks for conferences. I like to go to like Indies Con or Inkers Con and Orb in Orlando. I also like to go to Author Nation. So those are my favorite ones that I like to go to. So that's where I would be putting in, okay, 2 weeks for vacay, 2 weeks for conferences. Okay, so then this is going to adjust this goal. Okay. Now remember, you have lots of other things coming up. Then we have marketing. You are going to have a hard time marketing if you don't know what your books are, like what book you're going for, or how, like what your release dates are. But remember, you're really just hitting up this whole thing in here. This all ties together. Okay. So marketing, I'm going to do marketing, and I'm going to be focusing on doing my marketing at least an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. Why does marketing get more time than my writing when writing is supposed to be my most important? Well, here's why. For me, marketing is not just going to be about putting up a couple ads and watching them. It's not just about maybe creating a promotion. First of all, I have to plan those out, okay? Now, I use Boss Mode, and Boss Mode is all about planning your quarter and getting things pre-scheduled. But I have to tie that, I have to write that time in. So if I'm doing my marketing and I'm doing all of my social media and I'm doing all of my newsletter swaps, my newsletter building, my videos, everything, that usually takes me about a week to do everything I need to do for the upcoming quarter. So I have to plan that in. So that means that 5 days worth of work where writing is not allowed in that 5 days, I have to account for that time from my writing. Okay. So again, time that comes away from my writing. So there's another week. Okay. So there's another week that comes out every quarter. So that's 4 weeks. And we do this in Boss Mode because it actually makes life significantly easier to be able to focus on this when I'm trying to work for the rest of the quarter. So in Boss Mode, we teach how to do all of your marketing, do all of the things that you need to do. And then what happens is, it's really cool. What happens is you actually can focus. Have you ever noticed that when you're trying to write a book or whatever, do your plotting, whatever, things pull you out because you're focusing. Did I get that newsletter out? Oh, crud. I wonder if I need to set up a sale. I haven't made very much money today. Maybe I need to do the things. Well, when you have your social media and your other marketing steps all done and figured out, like we teach in Boss Mode, you don't have to worry about it. It's done. So you can actually be focusing on your writing. It's already scheduled. It's already planned out. All the things are in place. So that's one reason that it's so important that you plan that out at least a week at a time, right? So, but you have to account for that for your writing. Okay, another thing that I like to do with marketing is I like to this actually is going to tie into this one. Okay. So with my marketing, I'll do whatever skills and stuff toolkit that I have for my marketing. And this is probably going to turn into a series because there's so much to break into this. But I want you guys to understand that when you are doing your marketing, you have to learn new things. So we're going to jump into learning right now. Learning would be something like, for instance, and I'm going to quote Tanya here. She's a VA. She's phenomenal. She's also an author. You might know her as Tia Marley. I think I said that right. Tanya, yell at me if I didn't. What's great about what she said, and I fully support this is what I tell my clients whenever they're like, I want to do this thing, and I want to do this thing, and I want to do this thing. And I'm like, slow your roll, dude. Tanya said that what she was doing when she started Boss Mode last year was, and this is not a commercial for Boss Mode, it's just an actual, like, I'm telling you what we do. So what she said was she learned how to do her newsletters, how to do them right. She did swaps. She set up her drips. She made sure that her templates were right. She knew what her format was going to be like. So she learned how to do, let's say, newsletters, okay? Then she applied that in her marketing plan. It became a standard tool in her toolkit. Then the next thing that she did is she decided that she's going to work on TikToks. So in Q4 of 2023, Tanya learned her newsletter marketing. She worked on it. She made it to where it's second nature for her, very easy for her. So she added that toolkit and then moved on. That doesn't mean she stopped doing newsletters. It means that she was comfortable enough doing them and she grew enough doing them that what she decided to do next was learn in the next quarter. So she's been working on her TikToks, not TikToks. Told you my handwriting's crazy. So that's huge. That's huge. So she's working on that. And I can tell you she's doing pretty good. So then she can include TikTok in her marketing plans. Now, what's really nice is you can repurpose some things, like you can repurpose TikTok, right? You can repurpose those videos and put them like on Facebook Reels and Instagram. But another one you might do is ads. Maybe now at this point in time is when you're like, okay, I'm going to get started on ads. And you can either learn ads or you can hire someone to do them, or, right? There's like all different kinds of ways to do things, but you have to put this into your time. Ads take a little bit more than just a few hours a day or an hour a day or 2 hours a day. There are ways to make it easier because ads need to run in order to see if they're going to work or not. But that doesn't mean that you have a lot of time. Remember, your fundamental focus is supposed to be on writing your book. However, I do know people who do like their admin on Monday, Wednesday, and writing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Friday's a day off, right? Like you need to figure out your schedule for you. And really what it comes down to is all of this is beautiful and fun and everything comes into each other as long as it works for you. So let's clear this page here. And I'm going to show you that, author A versus author B. Okay, this is why this is important. I was author A and now I'm author B. Here we go. Author A, as Bonnie, used to say, remember how I said, okay, I'm getting 10,000 words a day. Then it was 6K. Then it was nap. Then it was, I'm going to try, but I'm so discouraged, I might get 1,000 words. Friday would hit and it was maybe another 1.5K. Then Saturday would hit and I would be so discouraged that I'd say, scrap it. It's a planning day. And I would start over, but I'd be so burnt out from the night before. I'd take my Sunday and I wouldn't work Monday or Tuesday. Okay. All right. So now author B, this is the Bonnie that I've become. Okay, so I actually can do 2,000 words in a day comfortably without stressing out. And so I would do 2K on Monday, 2K on Tuesday, 2K on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, take Sunday off, Monday, Tuesday. Did I go to Wednesday on here? Nope. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we'll say there's 9 there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we know on this one it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I'd have 16,000 words, no burnout. Do you see that? Okay, on this one I have 10, I have 16K, took a nap, 17, 18 and a half, and I would have 18 and a half K. Okay, now I'm ahead 2.5 author A, but I'm going to tell you right now that what happens over time, over that month, is this whole week would actually be an off. Because me mentally, I would be so discouraged that I hadn't done well that I wouldn't do anything that week. That's how I work. But this one over here, this Bonnie, she's consistent. So let's say in this month of 2,000 words a day for 28 days, because I do take Sundays off, for 28 days, for those of you math people, that's going to be 56K in a month. But this one, let's say I did 18.5 in those 2 weeks because I guarantee I took it off. And let's say I doubled that again and I tried it again and I did it. So let's say it was twice. So that would be 37K. I'm not going to lie. I feel more comfortable and more accomplished when I'm hitting this one. This one just left me burnt out feeling and left me feeling like I was not doing a very good job and I was never hitting my goals. Slow and steady. This is my little turtle. Turtle with little feet. And this is my rabbit. Okay. I seriously, when I say consistency is important, I mean consistency is important. Consistency is important in everything, in your writing. Now, some people I know, I have friends who are like, I can write 12,000 words in a day and then I needed the day off. Great. That's awesome. Because I understand that. But that's their writing process. So let's say that this right here is how you do the best, and this is not something that you do well at all. Dude, do you? If this is what your weeks look like normally, dude, you saw that? That was like 18K in a week. If your next week is going to do the same thing, awesome. The point that I'm making here is during this one over here, I was trying so hard to match other people and trying to hit these unrealistic goals for myself that I was failing over and over in my head, over and over. What I needed to do was just pick something that worked for me. The consistent every day works for me. It works for me. This does not. So I want you to ask yourself, what works for you? What is going to make you feel like you are doing a good job as an author? Are you able to set goals that are realistic for you? I'm not talking necessarily success goals. I'm talking about goals that will get you to the success that you're looking for. Remember, we talked about that last week. And I want to say it again and again and just reiterate. What's going to work for you is going to be very different from what's going to work for someone else. I lose my train of thought easily. I like squirrel, which is why I do as many things as I do. I'm multi-passionate. That's what I like to call it. And I've seen that called that on other people's channels and stuff. And I love that. It's multi-passionate. I've got a lot of things that I love. And I know we're told focus. I have to tell you, that seems to be my least favorite F word, because focus is very difficult if you need to focus on a whole bunch of things, if you are a multitasker, right? So for me, I like to have multiple goals. I have goals for Finding Your Indie. I have goals for Bonnie, my author persona. I have goals as a mom. I have goals for me personally. There's things that I just feel like we don't have to just pigeonhole ourselves. And so I want you to really think about what your goals are going into Q2, Q3, and Q4. What are your goals for as an author? Are you trying to learn something new and implement it? Good on ya. Are you just trying to be consistent and work on your writing? Phenomenal. Work on your craft. Do the things that you need to do. I showed you kind of how I broke it down and then how I would have to go back and make adjustments, right? Like all of those took time away from my writing. So I'd have to go up to 2K words a day to adjust for my admin goals, to adjust for my tasks that I need to do in marketing, and adjust for my learning tasks. All of that takes time away from my writing, and that's okay because I've identified that even though my goal was 1,000 words a day, I can comfortably hit 2,000 words a day, hit my goals, and do my other responsibilities that I need to do, and do the things that are required of me to hit my goals so that I can find success. Okay. This is a lot of information. Remember, we have Hive Mind and we have Boss Mode. We're trying to help you guys. We also have a lot of free courses and free resources that we have up, and we have new ones coming up all the time. We have a lot of lower priced items as well, because sometimes you just need one thing solved. You don't need the entire gamut. And I think it's really difficult to be like, hey, how do I use rules for my Facebook ads and that's a course that we have available, by the way, for traffic ads or for direct store ads. How do I do those? Well, I don't want to pay, $1,000 for an entire Facebook course when I just want to learn the one thing. And so that's only going to cost me like $17 or $27 or whatever. So that kind of stuff is what we're trying to do. We're trying to solve these problems on a goal basis instead of a huge macro basis. So I think that is really going to be where our goals are going to sync with your goals. You want to hit things, you want to learn things, you want to do things step by step. We want to teach things step by step and make sure that everybody is moving forward at the right pace. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Check us out. I've got a whole bunch of links down below. Remember, guys, you're trying to do this long term, not just a sprint. You want this a marathon. If you're trying to be an author for like all the reasons to stay home and to work from home and to have this be something that supports you and your family, I highly recommend consistency and having a long-term goal plan, not just a success plan, but a goal plan of what you're going to do in each quarter, each month to make sure that your overall goal for the year is being hit. All right, so please hit like and subscribe. Check the notification bell so you get notifications every time we put up new stuff. We're trying to hit new videos 2 to 3 times a week. And if you have questions or things that you would like to see us do a video on, put them in the topics or go ahead and go over to our website. to our website and fill out the questionnaire that we have there. It's undergoing a little bit of construction right now as we're switching things over to Bonity. So if you have any questions, let us know. And we are very excited to kind of talk to you guys and see how you're moving forward. And remember, 2024 is going to be a great year.